Ladies and gentlemen, Two Dudes Talk Music in conjunction with E. Brown Industries and Big Jerry Burger brings to you everybody's new favourite game show, Get in the Bin. Now, let's go to our host, Reverend Raph and the beer buddy, Kyle. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am your Reverend Raph here with the beer buddy Kyle and our new friend Aaron from Gemini Syndrome. Now, if you checked out the podcast earlier this week, we spent a lot of time talking to Aaron about his ups and downs through the music business and his various experiences throughout that. So we feel he should be extremely qualified to offer us some insight on what he would put in the bin, what he would eliminate from the music business or change about the music business. So without further ado, Aaron, if we could get started with your first thing, and why would you change or eliminate this from the music business?
You know, you even gave me time to prepare sort of mentally. Clearly talking about other things when we recorded the other segment. And, I think that my subconscious mind was going to work on these, but this is going to be tough. I mean, the first and foremost is I would make it a fair pay in these streaming services. I think you would eliminate so many problems. I mean, this could probably be said for the world. If you could eliminate like 50% of the greed that exists, I think everybody would just be a lot happier. Just because somebody gets more doesn't necessarily mean you get less. You know, paying other people for their work doesn't necessarily mean that you get paid less for your work. And I say that in music or anywhere else, right? Just economics in general. I think there's enough for everybody. It's just frustrating when I see guys like Snoop Dogg putting out videos where Snoop's pissed that he's getting screwed by these companies. He's like, I got 1 billion streams and I made like 45 grand or something. Like, that's insane. That doesn't even pay for that doesn't pay rent for the studio for a month. You know what I mean? Like, it's just. And
he's got a back catalog, and he got a back catalog.
I know, man. Like, so how are you supposed to at this point? I can't imagine being a young artist coming up. And I know that the game is different, and I'm not tapped into TikTok and the marketing there, and I suck for it. My bad. But even that. Even if I came up as a kid in this age, like knowing all of that stuff, I can't imagine the motivation to want to try to be an artist professionally when there's no, like, what's the kickback? At least when I was a kid, there was like this incentive that if you really made it, like you could, and I suppose that's still there today, but like now you got to be like one of the 1% bands, it seems. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's other ways. And I
think the only way that I could probably play devil's advocate to sort of that in some sort of way is that it's eliminated record labels. So it's eliminated that dream of someone walking in.
But they've all got money in it.
Of course.
You look
I get that.
The record labels are all invested in Spotify and in each other. So they're all in each other's pockets and it's all one giant amalgam anyway.
But it's more of a temperature check. You got to look at, people got to stop thinking, because everybody thinks social media is the be all and end all. All social media is a temperature check for how well you are moving. So if people are liking your stuff and engaging with your stuff more, it's, yes, you are doing the right thing. Keep doing this. If people drop off, do you know what I mean? It's sort of it's in with that TikTok and stuff like that. I've finally come to, like, you know, this is a realization I've had to come to with too, because I don't like the way the music gets found that way. But for young artists now, it's a temperature check for them, because you don't want to be asking your friends anymore, because they're never going to give you a fucking honest answer.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. You know, I'm reminded of this meme that I think my drummer shared with me, and it's a clip from an episode of Seinfeld, and the caption at the top that they laid over it says, "Every musician." Like thinking about how they have to become a content creator in 2024, and it's Jerry and what's the George, and they're sitting. He's like, "What are we doing?" He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "With our lives. What are we doing?" And, you know, maybe I'm dating myself and aging myself here, but like, I'm not a content creator, man. I have a hard time getting on social media and staying on there for any length of time, especially to do anything productive. Yeah, I find it's not something I find myself doing. I'm trying to do less. So then when I'm in an industry that like, that's the only way, like you gotta be on it. It's a challenge for me in a lot of ways. That's been the most probably challenging thing in recent memory is just having to adapt to a culture that has totally digitized and lives on the internet now for getting
Mm.
anything done. Um, and again, maybe that's just me being a whiny old guy at this point.
No,
I don't know.
I don't think it
No,
is. I
we
mean,
agree.
we've
I
said
agree.
we've talked about it till we're blue in the face on the podcast, and it's streaming devalues music in the mind of the consumer because instead of paying, $10-15 for a CD, you're now paying that per month for access to all music that's ever been created anywhere in existence instantaneously. We've talked about how, Kyle brings it up. If you buy a CD, you've made an investment in that. So you're going to take the time to listen through it at least a few times. And maybe as you listen through it a few times, you kind of start to get it a bit. Whereas if it's streaming and you don't like it in 30 seconds, you're gone. You're on to the next thing. You're not coming
And
back.
you're bitching about it online shortly afterwards.
Totally, dude. That brings up. Recently, I adopted this mentality of not trying to. I listen to new stuff twice, and I try to suspend judgment of any kind. I try to just get used to the song before I think anything about it, no matter what the genre is. Because
Mm.
again, I like all these different styles of music, but if I'm in a bad mood or I'm not really paying attention or I'm not really giving a song a chance, I might hear I might not like the guitar tone in the intro and be like, this song sucks, skip. But it might be one of the coolest songs. You know what I'm saying? Like there might be,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that hi-hat sucks or whatever is stupid. And I skip the song, but that might be my favorite song. I just might not be in a place to hear it. I might be in a metal mood, and this song is more, like popish or something, or more singer-songwriter, or vice versa. I'm in a chill mood, and this band is like Meshuggah heavy, and I'm just not in a place to hear that. So I'll try to like at least give it a second to get in the mindset, because I don't want to be that guy either. I don't want to jump to conclusions about songs that I haven't really given a fair shake and given a chance to really communicate with me in the
Yeah.
way. It's awesome.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Speaking our language.
But yes, okay. So like a fair pay for musicians and streaming services, or just kind of eliminating the greed aspect of that. We'll call that number one. What's number two? What's the next thing that you would want to see change about the music business there?
You know what would be cool to see in the States? When I go to Belgium or Europe as a whole, I mean, just to be transparent, we play Belgium and Holland. We've been to once or twice now, but it's primarily a Belgium act. But this story corroborates with everyone I know who goes to Europe as well and travels around. There are incentives in place, like social programs, basically, where club owners get grant money to put on shows. I I hope I'm saying that correctly. Hope I'm saying that in the right way. But whatever it comes down to, these people who own clubs and are bringing bands in to do shows are getting money to put on the shows. And because of that, everybody gets paid reasonably well, no matter what the club is. Even the smallest basement clubs we've played, uh, up to the Live Nation festivals that we've played over there. Everywhere has catering. Everyone's in a good mood and happy to be there. Even the sound guys are like, hey,
Oh no.
That's
like,
that'd be a unique experience.
like it's unlike the States in every way, touring. Like touring is not like stressful. Everybody's really concerned about making sure that you have quality food and that you're comfortable, as opposed to like in the States, you gotta fight for, fucking stage towels and a case of water sometimes. Like, bro, can we have paper towels? Like those are worse because you got to pay for them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so tight gripped and because there's not the money in it, right?
Mm.
But there is some, and that's I hate to go back to point one, but like and I think point one will tie into point three, is there's gatekeepers still in the industry. There's no doubt about that with
I hate
play.
that.
And at the end, I don't know. It's just a giant Illuminati pyramid, man. As far as I'm
No,
concerned.
it's this whole old head fucking concept of if I had to struggle, you have to struggle. I had to go through it, you have to go through it. I got paid shit, you got to earn your stripes. Man,
That sucks.
fuck that noise.
Yeah. If you love the music like you claim to, you would want to see it flourish, and you would want to see people do better. You know, this gatekeeper mentality that they want to keep other people out of or test other people to see if they really want it is like fuck off. I'm sorry.
Well, and like, something you were talking about with like, when you buy a CD and you get into it and you really like you understand it on a deeper level, or you kind of bond with it. Um, I think there's a lot in the gatekeeper world of music. There's a lot of, I think this is what people are gonna want because it's what people wanted before.
Mm.
And so there's a fear of newness. There's a fear of innovation. There's a fear of something that's unfamiliar. And I think we really shoot ourselves in the foot as consumers and as artists in that sense. Like a band like 12 Foot Ninja to me is so unique that everybody should hear those guys.
Mm.
Even if they don't become diehard fans of them, they should be exposed to everyone so that people know what's possible,
Yeah.
right?
Dare to be
That
different.
it's bananas, man. Like what they're able to do, or bands like The Contortionist, who are never going to get radio play because their songs are too long, or whatever. But they've got beautiful music that should be fucking heard by people. Um, I think there's whatever, if it's fear or just a comfort in what's familiar. This idea of continuing to feed people what they've already consumed doesn't foster growth.
If you
No,
look,
but it sells tickets. Nostalgia sells tickets. That's the problem.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you
And
chase
then
it, if you
something.
sorry,
Go ahead.
go. I was just gonna say, like, we kind of touched on, but when we were off air, is like when we weren't recording there, we touched on a little bit. Is the uniqueness and the freshness and the chasing something new, trying something different, and like it's if you're chasing a trend, you're too late.
Yep.
If you're chasing a trend, you're too late. The people that are at the forefront of the trend, the people that were doing it, that created the trend, whether they intended to or not, those are the people that are running with it. Like, best example I can give you is non-music related. It's Bitcoin, right? By the time wider general society became aware of Bitcoin and what it could offer, it was too late. It was too late to make a huge amount of money reliably out of it, because the people that were already in it for like 10 years before anyone really knew what it was, those were the people that were all going to make money out of it. And anyone else, if you're only getting into it when it's becoming thing, it's gone. Your chance is done.
Miss the boat.
If you're chasing the trend, you're too late.
Don't be trendy. Be a trendsetter.
You know, I gotta say, we experienced this in our Gemini career, along the way of like when we did the first album for a major label, there was pressure to get that one song. And then we wrote Stardust and they were satiated. And then we left that label and we signed our next deal and we were making the second record and they were like, give us another Stardust. And Remember We Die was born. Right. And the intent every time we did a record, we're like, okay, we're going to do the three label songs that are going to go to radio, the bangers, the home runs, as we call the bangers, right? And then we're going to be artists. But then in the attempt to write those three bangers, we wrote a whole album of potential radio songs that weren't geared necessarily towards us being creative. So then the third record comes out and we're like, we're not going to do what everybody wants us to do. And in that attempt, almost as a joke, we were in the studio with Matt Good and we were doing Third Degree. And I had made some comment about, if I ever write a song with woes in it, just fucking put a bullet in me, because I've just ended for me. I don't ever want to write a song with woes. And I think Matt, who had come from like he played in From First to Last, I believe, is his band. Like he comes from kind of that, Day to Remember, that When We Were Young festival era where everybody was singing woes, and I think he was offended a little bit. And he was like, hold on a second. And we had this riff that we've been working on. He put a woe over it, and he's like, I want you to go home and write this tonight. I was like, challenge accepted. I'll fucking write your woes. And I went home, and that was Die With Me. And that was our biggest song on that record. But even still, again, record 3, here we are. I'm not going to write another single. I'm not going to write another Stardust for these people. And then we wrote Die With Me, which was kind of like a radio hit, right? And so we came into record 4. I'm not even going to try to write a single, but then we have to, right? What we learned over the process of these 4 records is that even in record 4, where I feel like we've kind of come full circle back to the beginning, like we're really just trying to write for ourselves again, we got so in the habit of writing for the trend that was already past because that's what people were expecting of us, that we stopped knowing how to do anything else.
Yeah.
We couldn't not write for the label game. We couldn't not write for the Spotify playlist game, for the radio play game, for the Clear Channel game. Like we just got in that place. Maybe I can't speak for I can because we've had this conversation as a band. We know this happened. Brian and I in particular is like we think we were getting like, we're getting crazy on this 4th record, and we listened back to it. And I'm like, man, it's still safe. It's still safe. It's still really, really a safe record. It's more experimental, I think, than we've ever been. There's like the song Conquistador is out. There's some pretty crazy kind of chopper rap, Chad Grayish screaming stuff going on in there, and some venti guitars. And then we have an accordion breakdown in the middle of the song. We call it the Pizzeria Part. Why? I don't know. Because we could. And I like those songs more than a lot of what we've done in the past. Not that I have love for our whole catalog. I love all the records. And there's something special about each song. There's no throwaway songs to me. I'm proud of all of them. But I think that I think we did ourselves a disservice by being yes men, right? Yes, we'll do it. Yep, we'll give you what you want. We'll play the game. Yes, master. Like you tell me what to go, how high. And I don't think it really paid out the way I'd hoped, or we'd hoped it would. And now it's time to take a slightly different approach and just do what the fuck I want.
Hell yeah! Well, I'm excited.
The only thing I see record labels that are around for now is to keep bands in check to stick to genres. Do you know what I mean? It's like we want 5 more of these, please. It's
which again is a failed strategy. I'll give you an example of Radiohead, right? They came out with I think it was the Bends, right? And then the label was like, this record was huge. Give us another one of these. And they were like, we'll give you OK Computer instead. And it was a drastic departure from the Bends. And it was their biggest album. But had they been like, okay, we'll give you another Benz, I don't think it would have done what OK Computer did. It certainly would have. I didn't even get OK Computer when it came out. I didn't like it as much as I had liked Pablo Honey and the Benz because it was such a far departure. I was in a different place musically too. And I love Radiohead now at this point. I mean, they're an iconic band. But because of the fact that they did what they wanted, they saw what the label was doing. They're like, no, you're going to have us do the same record again. And maybe it'll be successful, but it won't be creative and it won't be expressive and it won't be in our eyes any good because it won't be genuine. So we're going to do what the fuck we want at the end of the day. We're going to do what we want. And it became, I think, their biggest record to date. I mean, one of the biggest records probably of that whole decade.
Yeah.
So something to be said again, circling back to your trends thing. If you're trying to chase it, you're too late. You have to do, a great example of this is Sleep Token.
Yeah.
Sleep Token, I found him in 2020 when nobody knew who he was yet. Somebody had posted on Facebook at 2 a.m. I remember 2:30 something in the morning. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you should listen to Sleep Token. And I was like, as a person I know in Vegas, we weren't even like friends, I think, in real life yet. We hadn't met. Anyway, I was like, okay, I guess that's me. And I went and listened to it. I was like, this guy's talking about esoteric stuff. He's pulling all of the esoteric kind of symbolism, the secret society cloaks and masks and shit. I don't know if you're familiar with our symbolism, but it's right up our alley. This guy's doing what we do in his own unique way. And nobody knew it. Nobody had any idea. I didn't listen to anything else for like 2 years. And then suddenly the 3rd album dropped. And it blew up on TikTok, and now he's like one of the biggest dudes on the planet. But that guy was out there doing something unique, and again, blending all of these. Like, there's a song that goes from trance to like trip hop to trap, and then ends in djent drop tuned with screaming. And you're like, how did we get here? It was a journey, man. That's what I want to do. I want to go on voyages with music. So kudos to that guy and that band for doing innovative shit that I really feel akin to. I feel next door to with all the subject matter, but kind of proving everybody wrong, right? writing 7.5 minute songs and having them be huge. I haven't seen them at any of the festivals yet. I saw them at a club show in Vegas, but I've heard from multiple sources that like they'll play these festivals with 80,000 people, and the feedback that comes back is like, I've never felt like I was in a crowd that was so like connected to itself. Like the whole crowd was there for the like on the same page together. And like a band that can do that, that's magic, man. That's like that's the game.
That's the beauty of it. That's the essence. That's the essence of everything that we do with music. So that's beautiful. All right. So we got the three, right? It was the greed.
Yeah.
It was the venue, or the support for live music, I guess.
Yeah,
And
support for the venues, man, to make everybody a little more comfortable, because then everybody has a better time.
And sorry, the last one you were saying was like pressure from labels and stuff
and shit.
to
Pressure to keep the old
guard.
Old around, yeah, to keep the old stuff around. The fear of trying something new because it might not hit, but it might, man, and it might be the best thing that we've heard yet.
Awesome. All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up for Get in the Bin for this week. Thank you very, very much to everybody for watching. You guys can go and check out Gemini Syndrome and Woyote and the thing in the description. We will have links if you're in any of the areas that Aaron's going to be coming to on the tour with Killer's Confession in December. Make sure you get on that, because it's going to be really, really special. Thank you very, very much for spending this week with us, Aaron. You've been amazing. Anytime you guys have got something coming out, we're more than happy to cover it and have you back on to talk about it at any time. And we will we'll catch you guys on the next one. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it, all that good stuff. Peace out, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel, and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.